probably saw a few beaches, you saw some water, you saw a boat, you saw white sand, you saw me having fun. Yes, that's because I went on a vacation and I went with my family to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We spent about 2 to 3 days in Havelock Island and then a couple more in Port Blair, and then we travel back. All of it amazing. Great food, great vibes, a lot of relaxation. But I also want to talk to you about the stories I consumed during this trip. I read two new books, and I think I might have found a new favorite show. The first book I read was on my Kindle. It's called The Proposal by Bae Myung Hun, translated by Stella Kim. It's a space opera romance set against the backdrop of a looming war between Earth and an adversary they don't exactly know. They have no idea who they're fighting. It's an epistolary novella, which means everything we find out about the characters, the plot, the story, anything, we get to know it through 10 to 11 letters written by a main character to their lover on Earth. It's around 144 pages, a pretty quick read, and I had a decent time with this one. The last time I read an epistolary novel, I realized just how much I like that form of storytelling. The opportunity that we get to actually get inside the characters' heads through these letters, and letters themselves being such a beautiful form of communication. I love it. Like the intimacy this form of storytelling facilitates, if combined with good writing, will always be some of my favorite stuff to read. So in this story, we did somewhat have an arc, but the main thing I really enjoyed about it was the main character's storytelling voice. There was a lot of humor there, and I found myself enjoying and wanting to hear what they had to say next. But I'll be so honest with you, more than the romance, I was more interested in the mystery part of the story. Who are these enemies? Why are they attacking Earth? Where are they coming from? What do they actually want? And I enjoyed the parts of the story where we see the main character and other characters trying to answer these questions so they may protect Earth and win this war. That was more fun for me than the romance, because most of this romance is it's very one-sided. All of these letters are one-sided. We don't really get to see what's coming from the other side. We don't know who the other person really is, what they're feeling, what exactly is going on in their head, because we don't get to read that stuff, which I actually would have loved to. I genuinely would have loved to, and that would have elevated the book a lot more for me. But see, overall, not bad. It's not a new favorite, but it had its fun, sweet, and clever moments, and it didn't require a lot of brain power, which was sort of perfect for what I was going for during this vacation reading thing. That's the first book. Alright, so the second book I read during this trip, also the only physical book I took with me, was The Reader on the 627 by Jean-Paul Didier Laurent, translated from French by Roche Schwartz. I put this on my wish list after listening to Lena Norms talk about it on her channel. And come my birthday, one of my friends just buys it for me. And I'm so glad, because I had a very good time with this book. I had such a good time reading this story. And honestly, I didn't even realize when I'd finished the book. So it's a short one. It's a short novel about 194 pages, and we follow our main character who works at this book pulping factory for recycling, and he also happens to be the reader on the 627 train that he takes to reach work every single morning. He hates his job. He despises it. And the author does such a wonderful job of not only telling us that through words, but also just making us feel it. The way the factory has been described, the machine, the way the machine works, the things he has to do to make it work, the day to day goings on of that factory, the words used in all of those aspects to describe all of those things have truly just left me feeling ugh. So, to cope with his distressing job, every morning our main character gets on the train and does a performative reading, a recitation, if you will, of some of the pages he's managed to save from the jaws of the machine the previous day. And these pages are not connected to each other. One could be from a cookbook, one could be from a horror novel, one could be from a non-fiction thing, it's random pages, and he's just reading passages from them out loud. And he's not particularly doing it for anyone in specific, he's doing it just for himself. It's the only thing that's made him feel better about the murderous place he works in and the murderous tasks he has. But suddenly one day he comes across the personal diary of a young woman named Julie, and a new journey begins for him. Honestly, I enjoyed the writing style in this book. If I had to use a word to describe it, I would say charming. I had so much fun reading about all the distinct characters in this story and their chaotically complicated but mundane lives. And honestly, I would recommend. I had fun with this one and I would recommend The Reader on the 627. Finally, let's talk about the show that's kept me up all these nights that I've happily sacrificed my sleep for during this trip. And when I say happily, I mean happily. Oh my god, I can't wait to tell you about it. But okay, it's a fairly new limited series that's come on Netflix. It's 8 episodes. There's a little bit of romance, there's a little bit of found family, lots of character growth, and a very sweet storyline. I'm talking about the Japanese South Korean TV series Romantics Anonymous. Oh my god, I could not stop watching this one. I could not stop watching this one. And see, I've watched a lot of dramas, okay? I've done my 20 to 30 episode of dramas. I've done the long-winded dramas. I've done the dramas that really like to take their time in fleshing everything out and making you wait for what you really want happening, just the really long ones. I've done it all. And I love it, okay? I love those dramas. But this was such a nice change as well because it was faster paced, it was shorter, only 8 episodes. It still delivers a good story, still delivers good characters and a decent world, and you end up having a good time still. Okay, so let me tell you what this is about and let me try and sell you a little bit, okay? A genius, brilliant chocolatier who's afraid of making eye contact, she's afraid of being looked at by people, ends up meeting an heir who can't touch others. But somehow they happen to be the one exception for each other. My romance girlies already know where this is at. It had me hooked pretty much from the beginning, and while I don't personally understand or experience these phobias, there were so many moments where my heart truly went out for these characters because they've lived so long. They've lived so long with these fears ruling their lives essentially. It's placed these limitations on how they live their life, what they're comfortable with, the kind of relationships they can maintain. But still, at the end of it all, they have hope. They want to be better than this. They want to conquer their fears and they want more for themselves. So it's just, it's so sweet. And you know what? I enjoyed the romance. I enjoyed it a lot. But more than the romance, still, what I enjoyed was the sense of kinship that these two main characters found with each other, how they became reluctant friends despite being such different personalities in the beginning, to deciding to help each other, to actually realizing that, hey, there's actually something special here. And also in the beginning, our female main character is madly in crush with someone else, and her and the male main character decide to strike up this deal where they'll help each other practice so that they both can conquer their fears and live the kind of lives they want to. So cute, genuinely so freaking cute. And also, a massive bonus point, a massive brownie point, is a lot of the story is set around the chocolate world, like chocolate making, this particular chocolate cafe. And there are a lot of side quests and explorations and adventures that end up happening. Like, they go off to find a vendor for this one particular thing, or they're trying to track down the recipe for a particular type of chocolate, or there's a sponsorship that they're trying to get, or they're trying to talk to this owner and that owner. I like that the chocolate world wasn't just something to serve the romance and make the romance go further in the story. It was actually dealt with well. It had its own plot line, it had its own weight and importance and arc. And I love stories that have cooking and baking and stuff in that realm. So it was really nice to see it in the story and have it be an important part of the story as well. And generally, I see Romantics Anonymous becoming like a sign of affection for me. So, A Sign of Affection is an anime that I really enjoy watching. I love how sweet and warm and cozy it is, and it's become a comfort show. And I think Romantics Anonymous has the potential to become a rewatchable comfort show sort of situation for me. I highly recommend. I highly, 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 highly recommend, especially to all my K drama, C drama, J drama girls. Do it. Do it. What are you waiting for? But yeah, that's me. How about you? What's up? How's life going? What's been happening? What have you been reading? What have you been watching? Are things going okay? Are you doing fine? Are you drinking enough water? I definitely haven't been, but I'm trying to work on it. All things said and done, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your presence. If you've been here for this whole video and you haven't subscribed already, maybe consider it. Subscribe, join the family. We try and have fun around here. But that being said, thank you so much for watching. I am gonna let you guys go now. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you very, very soon in the next one.